Stop judging me. You're probably not, but I'm insecure. Don't you see that? Fuck. Welcome back. We have finally made it to the last superset of the leg day. So what does this mean for the content here? Well, I guess you guys will just have to wait and see. I mean, if you were to guess that we're going to go through the rest of my programming for myself, then you might be right about that, but I might have some other things kind of sprinkled in here and there, and I still want to keep trying out all sorts of shit with how I present this content. But for now, we'll just stick to the regular ass format of why we do this next exercise, when to do them, and how to do them. What are we doing today? We are doing the home hack squat and the reverse Nordic curl. These are probably the most uncommon movements out of the whole leg day, so they may need a little bit more explaining, but overall they're still pretty basic once you understand how the joints move and all that good shit. So let's start off with why are we doing these. I've hinted at this in the last video, but we're just going into isolation stuff for the quads. So why are we doing this superset? It's a great way to load up the quads, man. The same concept we had with the hamstring superset with the TRX leg curl and the hip resisted Romanian deadlift. We're doing that same concept but for the quads. So we start off with a contraction heavy movement with the hack squat, and then we superset that with the reverse Nordic curl, where that emphasizes the stretch part of the movement. So it's hardest to come out of the stretch, but once you pass that midpoint, it's pretty easy to finish. So you see how those work together? The same way the hamstring shit works together? Same concepts, and you just plug in what you need. That's going to be a repeated thing for all this shit, because as I keep saying, it's so simple. It's really just so simple. You just need to think like a very small amount, just like a very small amount of thought, and you'll figure all this shit out. Cool. So moving on. When should we do this? Well, I mean, same thing with the hamstring shit. It's after our compound movement. So this time we had our split squat as the compound movement for the quads. So now this is our isolation stuff for the quads. Whenever you're programming it in any sense, it should go after the compound movement for that muscle group. Really, that's it. If you're not going to do any compound movements for the quads, then it would be after the bulk of your movements. This isn't something that you should really be doing to start off your workout. In another video, we could talk about why I don't think you should be doing these heavy isolation things at the beginning of a workout, but for now, just that's how I'm structuring it, okay? Fuck, I know you're not even fighting with me, but I'm fighting with you because I'm so filled with hate. Like deep in here is just so much hate. How are we going to be doing these two movements? So, with the hack squat, the way I'm doing it here at home, I stole it from Coach Eugene Teo, so, check him out because he's way smarter than me. He didn't do it in the superset, but, I'm getting way outside of the point that I'm trying to make with how to do the hack squat. I have my foam roller, I have my resistance band, but the resistance band is just the apparatus I'm using to load up this movement. It could be dumbbells, it could be whatever the fuck else you have, or it could be nothing. I don't really give a shit. The foam roller, I line it up with my lower back when I'm standing up against the wall. My feet are pretty close together because, again, we're trying to hit the quads, and I'm standing on the band in this case. When I'm doing my squat movement with this hack squat, I'm prioritizing getting fucking rock bottom with this movement, so you see my ass on my heels, and then trying to finish the movement all the way up, and that's where the resistance band is coming in, adding tension. And the whole time I'm trying to push back into that foam roller, making sure that I'm mainly using my quads. Overall, it looks a little different, it looks a little fancy, but it's still the same fucking shit, man. I'm just squatting down, so dropping my ass to the ground, making sure my knee is bent all the way, and then standing back up. That's pretty much it for the hack squat. And I guess the thing I should say, which is the same rule for all these movements really, is trying to keep your feet flat on the ground. But come on, man, watch the video, see how I'm doing it, and try to replicate it. The reverse Nordic curl, how are we gonna do that? Another basic movement, this time on your knees. I don't really give a shit if your toes are up or down. You see I kind of curl my toes in. Whatever, it doesn't fucking matter. We just care about the knee joint for this movement. Just making sure that you squeeze your ass to make sure that your hips are pushing forward, and then just let your body rock back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. If we allow our hips to bend while we're trying to do the reverse Nordic curl, it's going to take a lot of tension off of the quads. But if we're trying to do isolation shit for the quads, then we kind of want that tension to stay there. Make sense, right? And the quads main function is just to straighten out your knee, so when we're in this bent knee position and we go to an extreme bend and try to use our knee to bring us back up, it's going to be working your quads. And trust me, just try it. Just fucking try it. It's very simple. This is a no equipment movement. Just move super slow and controlled with it. Pretty simple. So that's it for this video. What are we going to get into next week? Frankly, I don't really know yet. I have lots of ideas in mind. We'll see what I actually end up doing. But until then, I don't know, just keep working out. I don't really have a catchphrase or anything, so whatever. Fuck it. Fuck you, and bye. I don't know.